Big Brother Hometown's Viewing Lounge. I am CLC, and thank you for tuning in to Morning Tea with CLC, where we spill everything BBH 14. I am not alone today to discuss everything that's going down in day 0 in the Big Brother 14 house. With me, you know him, you love him, he is Big Brother Hometowns. It's Josh.
I am here. I am technically at work,
How are
but
you
I
doing?
chilling here in my office. Not my usual location. That might be a theme throughout the season, but we'll get into that at a different time. But I'm excited to be here.
And then also joining us, he loves maps, he's good at the chase, and he also likes to count cars in a McDonald's parking lot. It's Max Teddy.
How's it going, guys? So glad I'm not in a McDonald's parking lot today. I would much rather be here with you two.
Explain that for the viewers real quick.
My job, I work in the transportation field. So a lot of times in traffic, you have to just literally sit out and count cars because that's the only way to get the data you need. So I got tapped because I'm fresh meat at the company to sit in a McDonald's parking lot for 12 hours yesterday. Every 15 minutes, count the number of cars in the parking lot. So that is why I was able to be so present for day 0, because I was just glued to it. Because it was so boring. So like I know what happened for the first time in a while. So
Hey, we love it. I mean, I can't lie. I guess I'll start it off here. Whoever wants to chime in here. I mean, obviously, Josh, you've hosted 14 seasons of this thing, and Max, you've been pretty involved. Like, what kind of general themes are you getting from this day 0 cast? Kind of what are we seeing from a bird's eye view? Kind of what themes are you seeing present itself here in the house here in the first 24 hours?
I am seeing a lot of, this cast is probably the most connected cast we've ever had. Besides like season 1, like it's a different kind of connection. Like season 1 was connected in real life. This is connecting through games. And a general theme is people trying to navigate like how they want to approach those connections. Like, do they want to be honest? A lot of conversation I saw were like, should we be honest about our connection or like past games we've played? And a lot of people are saying yes, they want to get out ahead of that information. And it's like the people who are really connected, they're like, I've seen a couple conversations of like they know that they're good. So like Courtney and Daniel, for example, they have said to each other, we're good. We want to focus more of our energy on meeting new people. And so I'm encouraged that those kinds of conversations are happening, because this season could easily drift into people just playing with their friends. And I don't want that to happen. And I don't think it will happen.
Day 0 can often be very anticlimactic in that, sometimes like production or even the early days, just me was like ready to drop everyone in the chat and ready for everyone to just go nuts. A lot of times it's like, wait, where is everybody? But that wasn't the case yesterday. I would say that most people were in there, whether, we had a couple people that we'll get to that were start to finish and maybe still haven't stopped up to this point. And that's great. And no one's like super overplaying, but people are in there. And we had some people that found their windows of time where they could work in there. And then we had, 1 or 2 people that were a little more MIA. But I would say it's a very encouraging start. Exactly what Max said. People are navigating who they know, who they don't know, and how they're going to play a game for themselves, which is really good.
No, exactly. And I guess this is my second season on production. So coming from 13 now into 14, this was a way slower start than I would have imagined for this cast. I think we left day 0 out of 13 with like 2 or 3 alliances with people that were ready to play together. Here, it's very more slow. People are willing to work with their connections, but have not put labels on it. And we'll get into labels. We've got some connections that are kind of. We got a couple final 2s that may be in the works here, but nothing really solidified. No one really discussing a ton about the first HOH. Kind of some rumblings, but overall, mostly just kind of everyone getting to know each other, which is a refreshing take for this cast that's full of really strong players. So I'm happy everyone kind of took the day to just get to know each other. But I mean, Josh kind of hit on it. Let's talk about specific individuals. Who's impressing you?
I mean, obviously, I think the winner of the day, by almost everyone's estimation, unless I'm wrong, is Lance. And I'll let Max go on about Lance.
So Lance, my close personal friend, Lance Passig, is very much impressing me, and he's impressing the house. Like, people in their confessionals have specifically pointed out Lance as someone that they really, really like. Jabbar, when I asked him, like, who of the people you met today are you feeling good about, he instantly just started gushing over Lance. Angelica, specifically in her live confessional that she just did like 30 minutes ago, said that she thought that Lance was like, she was pretty sure that Lance was new to orgs, and she noted that he was putting in the work and that he wanted to play and that he was talking. And she said, I hope he's doing that with everybody. And he is. I told him, like, way before the season started, like, the biggest thing you can do at the beginning is to talk to everyone, because the biggest reason that people get nominated at the beginning is I didn't talk to you. So he really listened, and it was the first person to have a one-on-one chat with everybody. So I think that's really huge, coming from the only person that has never ever didn't even know what orgs were, to day zero doing what he's doing. I'm impressed.
I have slowly risen on Lance from the second we met him, when I was very low on him because I thought his interview was really bad, to his intro video, which I'm like, if you put some effort into an intro video like he did, that shows a different level of commitment. And we talked about that on the cast assessment. To yesterday, where he just, from the jump, just got in there and was just himself and got to know people and connected really quickly. And that's what you got to do. If this is your first time ever doing anything, that's what you got to do. And he's doing it.
Yeah, no, I was very low on Lance in the cast assessment because I just didn't know what he would bring. It was a lot of, I thought that people would have to coach him into kind of what to expect here, and I thought he'd fall into a similar position as Anna did last season, where she wasn't really keen on when the game began. And day zero has been about Lance. It really has been. I mean, near the end of the day, we'll talk about the other person who I think really impressed me, and that's Angelica. But Lance really went out, he was the first one to have one-on-ones with everybody, and really went out there and started those conversations. He didn't have any calls, which my favorite, like, I think Dan kind of hit on it. There are two like C story plot lines of day zero that really just tickle me from Lance. One, I'm not sure what spurred the conversation. I'm not sure if it was him figuring out that Abby and Allie are returners. I don't really know, because Abby was very forthcoming about being involved in the community. But he went around going, "Are you a returner? Have you played this before?" Like, going around asking everybody and their mom, like, "Are you a returner?" Which I just thought was really freaking funny to me. And my other favorite thing is when people would offer to call, he'd always respond with, "Oh, what are you plotting and scheming?" I'm like,
Right.
"Love it."
That's
He just wants to
that's the
talk with
episode
you.
title,
Like,
plotting and scheming.
It's so adorable. It's so innocent. He's just so excited. Like, I think he just is, like, so happy that people want to include him. And so he's like, "Ooh, is the game starting yet?" Like, oh my God. So it's really, it's cool. Like,
I think it was
yeah.
Carl that said in the Discord, is like, bruh, he just wants to call. He just wants to call.
Lance will figure that out today, and then he'll get it. But it's very cute.
It is. Another winner for me today, or yesterday, and I know you mentioned Angelica, and we can talk about her in a second, but for me, the other winner of the day is Abby, which also not surprises me. I've seen her play this thing a million times. Like, I know she's good. I thought her being a little forthcoming about her history with BBH was really unnecessary. Once again, this is we talked about this the other day a lot, but otherwise, she's just good. Like Jabbar noted her in his confessional, and people are obviously talking to Abby. I think some people know that she's ex-player, ex-prod, so that's going to, like, just raise enough of a red flag, but she's put in the work where she can push some of that stuff aside to get through at least this first round, if not, be in this game for a while.
Yeah, super impressed with Abby. She's just herself, and she just connects with people, and she's magnetic, and just such a down-to-earth person that, like, you just can't help but fall in love. So yeah, that's exactly what she needs to do too, especially considering her Big Brother hometown's history and the fact that she just knows of people but is not super connected with this cast. That's all you can ask for a day zero performance. And Abby said that she really, really wants to win the first HOH, and I'm okay with that. I feel like Abby, if she gets into a position of power early, that's going to really flip around whatever sort of power structure is beginning to form, and we could have a very different trajectory than if one of the 6 that we're probably going to talk about gets HOH.
Yeah, Abby, very impressive. And she's already done the thing that everyone wants to do, kind of day zero. Have a unique conversation that people can leave the day with. So Jabbar and the goats. She's loved. I think she's one of the only people with kids in the game, and definitely has highlighted that in her conversations. She has talked about Knox a lot.
I may have accidentally created a bond between Abby and Erica because I accidentally called their one-on-one chat because my phone was in my pocket, and they really connected on that call, and they have fallen in love with each other ever since. So like, you guys are welcome. Maybe I created the final 2.
And then the other person that really impressed me is Angelica. I came in low on her as well, just unsure of how the house was going to react to her. And everyone seems to be very high on Angelica. She's the one who initiated the house call at like fucking too late. Only I think 5 or 6 people showed up, but still the fact that she initiated a house call is serving her well. And she is the only person truly to be discussing an alliance. And really, while other people have been discussing like, oh, we should have a coalition between other people, no one's really discussed names. Angelica and Robert have been discussing a lot of game, probably the only 2 people outside of Lands who have discussed the game a lot, discussing who they want to work with. Angelica and Robert are a final 2 locked in, and they want to bring into the fold for sure RT, Danielle, and Erica, not because they want to. It's Angelica's weary of RT and does not want RT targeting them anytime soon, which is a great read on them, because we'll get into RT a little bit later. So I want to highlight him a little bit, but great read on her. Wants to bring them in, and Courtney is possibly floating in there as kind of like 2 trios coming together to form a 6. Which, for those who aren't, y'all are in the Discord, so y'all know Courtney is the winner of the plague in the sense of she's safe, so she can't be the HOH. So they really can't use her to better themselves to win the plague, but nonetheless, I think I can see that one of those 6, really the 5, coming away with this HOH at the end of today, but we will see. Let's talk about who's not impressing us. Say their names.
Allie, where are you? She posted a confessional in her diary room at like 2 p.m. yesterday, driving home, very frantic, as Allie does in her confessionals. Just like talking, like saying a couple people had reached out, and it sounded like she was going to get home and like start talking to people. Nothing. We've heard nothing from Allie at all. So I'm very surprised, because Allie is a social force, and she just wasn't there. Like, I don't understand. Like, maybe she had stuff to do, but she didn't tell anybody. Like, people are already talking about her being the first boot. And I'm like, Allie, you have to get it together, or else you're gonna be gone. Like, I don't know what.
Yeah,
this is weird.
It would be devastating to lose Allie first.
Yes.
I mean, at any point early in this game, it'd be really tough to lose Allie. So she's got to get in there today, and which is unfortunate, because when you're playing the Plague and you haven't already built those day zero bonds,
she's a perfect candidate to get plagued.
It comes off very. Her best bet is to get plagued early so she can have genuine conversations with people.
Yeah.
And that way she doesn't have to just be fighting to stay in the competition or whatever it may be. So because she didn't put in a ton of work yesterday, she needs to get plagued, and if not, to win that second place safety, which I don't think is going to happen in a million years for her today. So she's really she's starting from behind, which isn't good.
Yeah.
The other person, Julia.
Yeah.
Julia was gone at a bachelorette thing most of the day yesterday, so she just wasn't around. She did pick it up a little bit like late at night. Like, I noticed her like starting to message people, but none of her conversations looked to be substantial at all. It's just like she's trying to cover her bases. So we'll see if she starts to actually like build relationships today, or if she just kind of like disappears again. I don't know. We'll see. But Julia, nobody's talking about Julia.
Yeah, no, and the beauty and also like the evil of Big Brother hometowns is if you don't put in the work day zero, like if you put in the work day zero, it's gonna flourish. You're gonna benefit from it. You're not gonna be in danger round one because there's always a few people who don't put in the work. But for those who don't put in the work, you have a huge uphill battle ahead of you because you can't win the first. I mean, you're just not gonna win the first HOH to save yourself. You can't do that. That's not how
everybody. Not everybody can be Chris Stoner and get drawn for the plague for safety. You know,
exactly.
Like, that was a 1 in a million year occurrence. So.
And then you have Ashley and you have Ashley and 11. Like sometimes it just happens where the person who is in such danger just miraculously their chip pulls out and the gods have said you deserve a second chance. But for Allie and Julia, it's a big uphill battle. I believe they'll get plagued early because no one's talked to them, and hopefully they can take this time to, nominations won't be until tomorrow. So
I think the only thing that maybe could save one of them is the optics of putting 2 women on the block first. Like, I don't think people really want to do that.
Right.
We'll see if that factors into somebody's decision. Like, if a woman wins HOH, like, I know Angelica has said that she wouldn't want to put 2 women up. But like those two just, they haven't been here.
Yeah. Just some other interesting storylines I want to just quickly touch upon before we wrap up for the day zero. Duos I'm seeing, we see Nikki and Erica. Nikki and Erica have both promised each other that they've got each other. Nothing officially has formed in terms of a final 2, but they have each promised loyalty to one another. Courtney and Daniel, both coming from CT7 and then CT8, both have a very strong emotional bond with one another and have already talked about kind of dividing and conquering the house. And then, of course, Angelica and Robert are our only confirmed final 2 in the house right now. Let's talk about some fun rivalries just really quickly. The first one I want to talk about is Erica and Courtney. Erica immediately sends like 3 minutes of voice memos to Courtney being like, hey, I know we haven't worked together in the past, but would love to rewrite our history. And then Courtney immediately talks to Daniel about how Erica has targeted her every time in every mini they've ever played and only will trust her as far as Daniel trusts her. So I can see an interesting storyline emerging there. But the one I really want to talk about is Nikki versus RT. This is the rivalry that I think could really have some kind of impact here in round 1. There's some outside drama that comes into this. Nikki's friends don't really bond with RT. RT knows this, so RT definitely has a boundary there. And I'm not sure if that's affecting. Oh, Alex Day, I'm talking about you.
Yep.
Because you commented, I'm talking about you. Talking about you. Alex Day and his little squad. I mean, I don't say that they're not fond of RT. They're just not friends. RT acknowledges that and knows Nikki's in that group. And I think that's affecting his conversations with Nikki. It comes across very much. And Nikki was talking about all in her DR yesterday. She's like, I'm not sure what's up with this kid, but it does not feel genuine. It feels forced. So
you should compare it to dating apps.
Like, not good. It's a great read because I feel like he would absolutely put her up in a heartbeat. But it's something to watch because he has no interest in working with her and she has no interest in working back, to the point where she doesn't even want to have a conversation with him. Like, she's like, this is tiring. So that is the rivalry. I'm very excited to see what kind of blossoms from that. Any final thoughts about just day zero? Someone you wanted to talk about? Because realistically here, it's a lot of people who did a lot of the same.
What was otherwise the day for RT, though, yesterday?
Oh, my God. I mean, RT started off really strong, kind of talking to everybody. And then most people went to, I don't know, dinner, plans, because it is a Saturday. This man starts freaking out, being like, why is no one talking to me? Why are my DMs dry?
Am I the boring one?
Am I the boring one? So what did he start doing? Double and triple texting everyone in the cast, including sending a cricket emoji to Angelica after he hadn't heard from her, despite her telling him.
And her thinking it was a cockroach.
She went to work, and she's like, hey, I'm at work. I can't talk. And he sends a cricket emoji, and she goes, who's the cockroach? Am I the cockroach? And he was like, that's a cricket. So, and Crystal's highlighting it too, yeah. Angelica does not trust RT at all not to turn on her. Absolutely. Like, that's kind of the storyline of RT right now, is people are bringing him into the fold not because they want him in the fold, but because they're worried about what he might do if he's not in the fold. So I mean, RT is paranoid, not incorrectly so, but also a little like a little quick to jump the gun here by double and triple texting people on day 0.
Yeah.
Love him to death, but
How many calls has Jabbar scheduled for today?
too many. A lot. Like this, like if I hear the Skype phone going off today, I know it's Jabbar. Jabbar, I think, is still on call with Tommy or already wrapped up his call with Tommy today, but he has scheduled like 8 or 9 calls today.
Excellent.
In the words of Jacob Sharp, excellent. Yeah.
I cannot be on all of those calls, but maybe I will be. I don't know. But
and one other person I want to mention real quick is that I was really worried about AJ early on in the day. But he picked it up, got in his conversations, started bonding with people. I can't wait for calls that AJ are on.
Yeah.
He's just so much fun. And he was good yesterday. He was good.
Yeah, because we really haven't had many calls. Like, I mean, for the most part, I think we had 4 or 5 calls yesterday, most between people who already knew each other. I think Jack had, 2 calls with people he did not know, and those went fine. Nothing extraordinary. Like, they were just fine calls. So
Daniel and Courtney had a call.
Angelica and Robert had a call. Yeah, just people who know each other. We're just kind of like, let's divide and conquer. We got this. So I think today will be intriguing, especially with Jabbar calling everyone. I think that might trigger a domino effect. Everyone else being like, oh shit, need to call. So
also, I just thought about this. The Angelica Robert thing, though they're super tight, you may have said this before, but Angelica is like 100% in and Robert's like 95% in. So there's just that little bit of Robert's not sure how far that's going to go. But that's just something to keep an eye on, probably way down the road.
Exactly. It's hard to tell because Robert says that he's in, but it's unsure if he wasn't sure if he's like, I might need to be deceitful to her later. Is that you're going to turn on her, or are you just going to like throw her, to the wolves? Like, are you still with her? Like, it wasn't clear, but Robert was also very crossed last night. So I'll wait for him to be sober today before I ask him what's going on with him.
All the while, Angelica saying that she will look out for Robert's best interest over her own. So
that's kind of how you get with her. As we said in the cast assessments, like if you're with her, she rides with you. Yeah. But you got to be in with her. So any final thoughts before I go into predictions for today? Oh, thank you, Alex.
We covered it. Yeah, thanks, Alex.
Who prediction before we head on out? Who is winning the plague today? Who is going to be at the first HOH and by history repeating itself will not be winning Big Brother Hometowns 14?
Jabbar.
Oh, okay.
That's my call.
I'll go with Daniel.
I'm going to go with Danielle.
Oh, interesting.
Okay.
We didn't talk about Danielle.
But we'll see what happens. But for Josh Gonsalvo, Max Teddy, CLC, that is all we have for morning tea this morning, and we'll catch you tomorrow at 10:30 Eastern. Bye. Oh, I did it twice.